Okay, so today we're going to talk about like chin na, or like basically like joint locking, or like locking the front, like a little bit of grappling. Now, you know who does this really good, but they just don't work on the small joints, is basically the jujitsu guys, right? And it's because they're so attuned to the body. So when it comes to beyond the arm work and the finger work, you should go to them because they have the ability to do it with their entire body, and like that's pretty impressive. Okay, so let's start off with chin now. Okay, so chin now is gonna, a lot of times it gets into a point where like we have to like be able to like lock the body or create pressure on like either the tendons, ligaments, or like a joint. Okay, so simplistically, you know, the first joint we have is the tip of the finger right here. You see this joint right here? So we can push it inward like this, so like this. A lot of times you see people, they grab somebody else's fingers and they constrict them in such a way where only the tips of the fingers are being pressed, and that can create like this pain, or this threshold where it goes beyond like their capability, and then you see them crumble because they're reacting to the pressure that is being put on that nerve. Okay, now what happens is you can do that. So the tip of the fingers first, right? Getting it to the point where it's being smashed. So some people smash it like that. Okay. The next thing would be the two middle joints right here, and then basically moving them into opposite directions, right? So if I was to take these two fingers like this, and I was to move in opposite directions right here, or even like this, like using two fingers and moving the joints in opposite directions, you'll feel a little bit of pressure on these joints right here, right? And it creates that something's wrong, something's going on mentally. My brain is trying to get out of that feedback reaction loop of the pain that is hitting like these particular two joints. Okay, and then from there I can grab and I can pull the finger in such a way like this, like where I'm locking the finger. And once I have like a control of the finger, the more experienced guys will just like pull out, or they'll attack you with their other hand, so that you have to focus on your attacking hand, your defending hand, and then they can release the hand that you're attacking them with. So again, we start off here, the tip of the joint, then the two joints move in the opposite directions. Then we got the mercy, right, which is basically where the finger like and meets like the palm joint right there. So we can take it and we can move it this way, you know, or this way, you know, like bending it in such a way where it reaches its threshold, and you go a little bit further. That way you create like a control factor. Then once you have that, you can also do the wrist. Some, you know, Aikido guys, like Kotogashi or something, use the pressure point right here. You lock the wrist in this way, and you control it right here. Or you can bend the wrist back this way, or you can bend the wrist up this way. Either way, you're creating this pressure over here, and basically the opponent now has to deal with the pressure. That's part of the locking mechanism. The other thing too is also holding this, constricting the elbow, and then pushing the elbow within itself, right there, creating that type of pressure. Another one is basically coming off to the side over here, like holding the elbow, like say, I know he doesn't have an elbow, but we try, you know, push pull against the guy's elbow right here, controlling that. Then you also got this, where I control the arm this way, right? Which is basically like, you know, snake climbs branch, right? You're climbing the branch and you're using that here, you know, against this. Or you can do the opposite direction, where I'm using my body to resist in this way, and again I'm creating that pressure. You see right here? Okay. So chin na is basically about immobilizing a body part, a part's movement, and applying a little bit more of a pressure against what would normally not, the body would not normally move in that direction. So then what happens is that signals to the body, the nerve endings and stuff, that, oh, I have to do something because something is wrong. You know, not only am I not supposed to, I can't move anymore, but I'm really not supposed to move in that direction, and something is forcing me to move in that direction. So a lot of times what happens is, as like a defense mechanism, is the person follows the movement to get away from the pressure that's being applied in that direction, right? So if you're being pushed like this, instead you're not gonna like fight against it this way. You're pretty much gonna go with it so that you don't feel the pressure coming at you. Same thing goes with like chin na. Chin na is kind of like an attack or a technique of opportunity. People don't come at you and say, "Hey, got my fingers." They don't come at you, here's my wrist. They don't do that kind of stuff. What happens is they punch, right? You block, and then after you block, you capture it in. You hit, you now have control of the elbow, right? They come in, they do this kind of stuff. They kind of scrape your eyes. You block this way, in between their fingers. Now you have control of their fingers. They grab your hand. They try to do like a tiger claw on you, or they try to do like a eagle claw or phoenix, or they try to do like the snake on you. One finger's in, two fingers in, or whatever on you. And basically, mistake, you capture their finger. Now you use it against them. Okay, that's kind of like how chin na comes into play, when it comes to fingers anyway. But the chin na is also like the regular grappling techniques that you see in a lot of mixed martial arts, a lot of jiu-jitsu stuff. So I would say learn from the jiu-jitsu guys, okay? Because they're like they have refined the art, okay, to use their entire body to do locking and stuff. And what happens is then you can apply the same concept but at a lower level for like the fingers, the arms, and that kind of stuff, okay? So go out and learn whatever you can from all the different arts. There's pros and cons all over the place. And there's also great instructors, there's junk instructors, okay? And just because there's like the guy is a great practitioner, he's a champion, whatever, doesn't mean he can teach. He might be junk, okay? So you go out there and you find yourself somebody that you can learn from. Maybe the guy's a great teacher, but you just don't like him, or maybe you can't understand the way he teaches. Find somebody who can teach you in the way that you can learn, and then take that. And I'm hoping that you're able to then take it and give back, right, to the art and teach others. You know, even like just educating your own family members or your friends how to do something, or helping them out is great, because you allow the art to move forward. You're sharing it, and that synergy in itself, like, help keeps it going. So good luck on your training.